Welcome to the new episode of All That Jazz. I'm your host, Matyash, and today I have with me Amy Wallace or Amy Apostolico. Did I get it
Yep.
right?
Yes,
And
you
she's
did.
a Reiki healer and a spiritual coach. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Majaj.
You're
It's
welcome.
awesome to be here. I
So,
watched a few of your other podcasts, and I really like the way your interview style. You're very natural with that. So
thank you. Yeah, it's no pressure. It's just a conversation here, basically. So, usually my guests have their spiritual journey starts young. And was that the case with you?
yes, in some ways, but also not. But I understand why my higher self set up my life the way it did. For me, I always knew I had some gifts, but I didn't, I kind of put it on the back burner and was real into just the 3D reality up until, for me, it was 2017. Um, my boyfriend at the time, and we were like glued at the hip, uh, was tragically killed in a freak motorcycle accident
Mm-hmm.
um, at the beginning of 2017. And I first got into spirituality for selfish reasons because I really wanted to be able to communicate with him. And I was going to a lot of different mediums and psychics. And it was pretty cool because he did that. He knew that I would be like that and need that reassurance. So that's pretty much what like saved my life after that happened to me, was hearing from him and knowing like without a doubt proof that these people weren't making it up, the stuff they were saying.
Okay. How
And
did you contact him though?
would so uh it just a lot of weird things lined up. It's kind of like, it's crazy. It's awesome, but it was crazy. Like right the week after he died, at my work at the time, they had a medium and psychic come to this event we had to go to, and she right away told me things. I was like, what? And then a week after that, my mom's best friend from high school called me, and she was like, I don't even tell anyone this, but I get messages from the other side and I just do it for fun or whatever. And Steve, I won't stop until I tell you these things. And like, the stuff she said, only he knew. And it was just like, I mean, right away, I was like, okay, there's
Mm.
definitely, we don't die. There's another dimension they're in. And then I realized, like, I started getting almost jealous of her and different people because I'm like, man, you get to talk to him. I miss him. I want to talk to him. So my biggest goal from then on was to open my third eye, to decalcify my pineal gland, to reach these higher states of consciousness so I could get the messages myself. And I
Okay.
definitely have gotten to that point now. But it's funny how it's very different, at least for me, than I thought it would be. Like hearing, it's not like for me, it's never like a voice outside of myself that talks to me. It's like it sometimes shows up as almost in my own inner voice. And I have to see like, wait, am I saying that? Or is it my ego making it up? So the hardest thing is to be able to discern what is your ego and what's your intuition, and what, at least for me, I get information definitely through my heart chakra. And it's not like in words. I'm more clear cognizant. So like I get information through my heart chakra, then I have to interpret that information into words. So I am kind of putting it into my own words. So
Right.
that always makes me, since I'm making those words up from the feelings I get, it throws me for a loop because I'm saying it. So I'm like, wait, am I just saying it? So now I know, by now it's taken a while, but I've gotten to the point where I will know that it's not me. It's me interpreting it, but I already
Right.
got the information.
How do you know it's like the heart chakra versus something
I
else?
read a lot about this, and so they say now I can feel it, because a lot of times, like, just notice when you're in the car driving alone, because that's when I feel like most of us get the most intuitive messages. Um, you'll notice your heart rate sometimes will increase, like your heart will flutter, and that's like when the information's coming into your heart chakra. For at least for me, I'll notice like a little pitter patter in my heart rate, and then like a sudden urge to like repeat or something. And it feels like almost like repeating something it was just told to you, but not in words. just like a feeling, then you have to like vocalize that feeling like in your head or out loud. So
Right.
that's how I studied it, to know like that's what intuition is, and it's through your heart chakra that it comes for most people. But other people, like some really good psychics like Matt Fraser, he hears the information, like talks to them, and that
Right.
I would love to have that, but I don't have
And
that gift.
yeah, everybody seems to be a bit different. Like
Yeah.
some people can experience it. Like I remember this one time when I was working in a hostel, and this new guy started, and he was just listening to me talk, and I could tell that he was like paying attention more than maybe somebody else. So I could almost like it's weird to say, but I could almost like hear him listening more. It's
I know
like
exactly
because
what you're talking
somebody
about.
is so paying attention so much. But I don't know if that was like an intuitive thing, or that was just noticing that he was paying so much attention to what I was saying.
I think it's both. I definitely think it's an intuitive thing, because I think a lot of our intuitive abilities, 90% of them are actually subconscious things that we don't even like, we're not right. We can't put a, a fingerprint on it, like a exact moment of what made me think this, and I feel like trying to do that too much, and I do that a lot, like trying to pinpoint exactly what happened during this moment. That's what kind of keeps you like tied up, instead of just going with the flow and just letting it be like, okay, that happened, I definitely heard his stuff. And the more you kind of go with it, it's like they're like muscles that we don't usually work.
Yeah.
The intuition doing it, and the more you work on them, the more less subtle it becomes and more obvious. But everything's really subtle and really like subconscious, I think, a lot more than what we realize, and where people think you're not on the right path, different things. No, you're on the right path, like, because your subconscious and higher self, they plan these things so that they don't want you to know the final event. But I realize now, like, all my whole life, everything I did was pretty much to help me do what I do now, and like coach people spiritually. Like I was I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I'm now anti-pharmaceuticals. Like I don't take any chemicals, nothing like that.
Right.
Nothing that's not natural, I don't like to take. And that I went on the other side of it and did pharmaceutical sales to figure out, okay, how that industry worked, how bad it was for you, really, to really ultimately find that out. Got prescribed different narcotics and things from bad doctors, realized like the bad end of all that, so that I could feel pain, feel painkillers, feel the different things, then feel what it, after you stop depending on those things, how if you just raised your set point of your body's like natural vibration, how every day you feel like you're high, a better high, natural high, instead of
Right.
pharmaceutical fake high.
And you have experience with high and other stuff because you were involved in it.
Yeah, well, like I did everything. I partied in college and all that. So I before I definitely looked for things to. I feel like a lot of star seeds and older souls is the different things to escape my reality. And everyone does it. Everyone is addicted to different things, whether it be sugar or caffeine, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, everything, pharmaceuticals. Not even just, it doesn't even have to be bad ones, but any pharmaceutical that you have to
Right.
take. Just being a slave to that, I feel like it definitely really blocks your spiritual gifts. But if you notice, a lot of drug addicts and different people, they're very smart and they're very good at manifesting. But my theory is you're very good at manifesting, but you manifest more drugs or more chemicals that will get, because your brain is like hijacked. Your thoughts are always, they become at your root chakra. That stuff gets stored for addictions. And it's basically, you think about waking up, eating, and then where am I going to feel chemically okay today because I have my whatever medicine. And that basic core thought in your head gets so ingrained that you will manifest still, but you'll manifest more drugs into your life and manifest because that's what you're thinking about.
Right.
So
Right.
once you stop thinking, don't have to rely on anything. You know, I know if I go to a deserted island tomorrow, I'm not going to have to worry about, oh no, where's my Adderall? You know, like,
Right.
you don't have to worry about some chemical, and it really frees you. And I feel like that's when all my gifts started really, really took off for me, was when I cut any kind of prescription out of my life. I still drink every once in a while, everything in moderation, but if you do something every day, that's not moderation, you know? So,
Well, you can drink coffee every day. I think coffee's fine.
yeah, it's caffeine. That's not a bad, I'm drinking a little bit of coffee right now. It's not a
Right.
bad
Right. Right.
addiction at all. People that need coffee, if you get to the point though, where you're like, oh, I need my coffee or else I'm going to be a jerk, then it's kind of a little bit gotten to that point where it's taking too much of your, you know, brain power.
Right. Right. Right.
And like you're too dependent on it. You don't want to be dependent on anything.
Yeah.
For a little
Ideally.
bit, yeah. Like a lot of people use marijuana, weed, for spiritual reasons, to reach like higher states of consciousness, and it definitely does do that. It can help you a lot, but you don't want to get dependent on that, because then you don't want to, like, you don't want to meditate unless you're high, you know. It's just,
Right.
it's not good to get dependent, but I understand why people do that.
Would you say that meditation has gotten you more high than being high with
Yes.
weed?
So I've tried it all, and
You've tried it
take
all.
my word for it that I know it sounds so cliche, like, oh my God, meditation's better than any drug, but it's the real thing. Like, I mean,
Right.
so getting into like a bliss state while you're in like a trance like state meditation, you're physically increasing your vibration. And I do like this little exercise where I actually just like ask my spirit team out loud to help me raise my frequency. And we were talking about this the other day, but I think it works best when I'm in by myself in meditative state, because I tried to do that for a group of people, and I don't know if it had the same results, but I feel like a lot of spirituality doesn't have to be as sophisticated and complicated as people make it out to be. And it really, like, just asking your, you know, knowing an intention, and knowing at all times that your angels and guides are ready, waiting for you to ask for help. And even if it's not silent, you can say it out loud. I do that a lot. I'll say things out loud a lot. And just ask, you know, help me raise my, I always say, help me raise my frequency so I can better communicate. And then I've noticed my ears will start popping, like from the increase in frequency.
Do you feel anything when that happens? Do you feel anything?
Yeah, like pressure, kind of like an increase in blood pressure or something. My blood, some pressure builds in my, behind my third eye, and it will feel like a pulsing behind my pineal, basically. And my vision, when I close my eyes behind my lids, it goes purple, like right in the center, and it will like pulse. I'll see this purple light pulsing. That's at least just what happens for me. But then, and then my ears will feel like they're about to pop, and I'll hear like a high pitched ring in my ear.
So what kind of meditation do you do, by the way? Like, besides this?
When I first got into meditation, I really did not know how to turn my thoughts off. I did not know how to meditate. I think most people are like that. It's hard sometimes to be able to sit there and as soon as you're saying, okay, clear your mind, you're going to start thinking about stuff. But that's kind of what the point of meditation is to train your mind to get back on track after it goes. Cause it's going to keep, once you take the pressure off yourself, your mind's going to wander no matter what. If you take the pressure off and say, let it wander, and then just course correct, and I'll think about something that, oh wait, I'm thinking about something. Let me blank out, think of a beach or something. And then I'll do different things. Like I'll focus on my breath, think of like a beach scene. Then I'll use a lot of visualization techniques. And I didn't understand why they asked you to do visualizations and for spirituality, but now I totally get it. But for a while I was like, what's the point of making it up in your head? And now I realize, no, we think we're making it up in our head, but in some existence that kind of exists, because all thoughts are things. So if you're thinking it in your head, it is existing on some point. So visualizations, I do think, are important. And just doing a meditation where you sit there with your eyes closed and start thinking about, okay, let me just think of meeting, what would it be like meeting a spirit guide? Even if you make up a cool scene where you're meeting things, they're getting upgrades. If you make that stuff up, it will turn into actually physically helping you.
Getting upgrades, it sounds like a video game, like you're getting upgrades.
Yeah, like now I do that. And my friend David Starr, he does a lot of that type of stuff where he takes people on like little astral travels. And we would start doing that once a week. We would FaceTime each other. And I had him direct at first because I'm like, I don't see this stuff like you do. But now, then once I started just letting my ego and mind relax and letting that guide me, we started seeing the same things and saying it at the same time. So I'm like, wait, so is it made up? Wait, because we both are seeing this and we're both feeling it. So it's I think that's important. Like if you can just meditate, but then sit there and just think of cool things in your head. If you can't turn your thoughts off, direct those thoughts to visualizing cool experiences. I think that will help you a lot.
What about just visualizing yourself, the better version of who you are, and kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, those are always really good. Like Aluna Ash would always do these meditations where you would envision be like watching a movie screen with yourself in like 10 years, your ultimate goal of what you would like your life to look like, and then like eating the TV screen. But like something with that like spiritual like visualization really does help with manifestation. It helps it make it come to life.
Okay, so what's your view of manifestation then? Is it just
I was
a
just
matter
about to
of
get into that. So one of the things I started doing to like really to show like how manifestation, how easy it is and how we do it all the time, is I've read this like a month ago, and I was like, this is such a good example. I started doing it. I've done this example 3 times now, and every time I've gotten better at it. So they say to take like a simple thing, like think of something weird, like I think they say in the example, like a pink elephant, and manifest a pink elephant by just saying somehow in my reality a pink elephant will appear. Then in the next week or so, see if you see any pink elephants, like on a bumper sticker, on a billboard, something, a pink elephant will come into your reality.
Well, you can't look it up on Google.
No, you can't search for it, but let it just, you can't search for it, but just let it come to you. And so I did that. I think I said purple palm tree the first time. And I mean, I'm in California. There's a lot of palm trees, but not purple ones. And 3 days later, I saw a purple palm tree on the back bumper sticker. And it was weird because like, obviously my spirit guides were trying to tell me to focus, because right away it was like, boom. And I saw it. And usually I probably wouldn't even put 2 and 2 together, but I remembered and I noticed it. And then like 2 more times the next few days, I saw a purple palm tree, which was, I mean, still purple palm tree is still a little bit harder to exist, you know? So that like little trick, like exercise is, I feel like, a good way. Like think of something weird in your head, not too weird, obviously, but like something that you see maybe 1 in 100 times, and you will see it in the next week. And that shows you how good your manifestation power is. And you have to like be confident. So you can get better at manifesting the more confident and just knowing that it's going to happen. If you were thinking, oh, I really want to be a millionaire, but it's never going to happen, but I'm going to manifest it.
Right.
If you really think it's never going to happen, it's never going to happen.
I think, even in the Bible, it says, pray, but believing or something, and then you will receive or something like that.
So like it definitely is. If we can believe it, it's way easier for it to happen. But so like when I was in college, I had just a summer job, part-time job doing telesales when I was like 18, and to like a bank, doing like transferring thousands of dollars in balance transfers and stuff on a credit card. Well, the first day I got there, I hated it. people cussed me out. I hung up. I thought I was just gonna leave. Like I hated it.
Right.
The next day, I remember something came over me where I was like, I had one really good call and I was good at it. Then this like weird feeling came over me where I just got like really cocky kind of, but like I got really good. And then that summer I made like 40 some dollars an hour for being 18 just in college back then. It was a lot of money, but because I would just know I was so good with the manifesting of it. Because I mean, I just knew I was so good with the sales because I was very confident that I knew the sale would happen. I knew this person would buy it, so they did because I was confident about it. So I feel like a lot of the things that have happened in my life have been to lead me up to what I'm doing now. Because now I get it. I've been on all the different sides, and now being, the last 3 years, I'd say that since he died, that has been my number one manifestation, has been to reach higher states of consciousness, to talk to other beings in other dimensions. And I've definitely, it's happened, but now I realize my real goal was to help people who are also just waking up, explain things in a more not as sophisticated, easy to understand way. Because I remember I didn't even know what, like, I would watch and hear things about grounding, why people do use crystals, different things, but I didn't understand exactly why. And now I do, but now I could help other people realize what, just little things that maybe you would be too, I guess, embarrassed to ask. And sometimes with the spiritual community.
I want to ask you about the astral travel, because the way I understand it is, as somebody that I really respect, my teacher warned me about that in astral travel, because as far as I understand astral travel, you go out of body and you go into in your spirit body or whatever it is, in your etherical body, and you go out and you go into different dimensions. But the thing is that it could be, do you ever feel like attacked or anything like that? Do you have like some kind of protection?
So when I was saying with the astral traveling, like when we do it consciously, like that's more just like kind of being aware of other dimensions, but you're not like asleep or anything when we do it that way. But when you're talking about when you're sleeping and dreaming astral traveling, yes. The other night I had that really bad where I had you basically have sleep paralysis. And yeah, you can get some crazy, and I mean, they're entities that feed off of the fear and stuff. And that's why the coronavirus is happening. That's why a lot of things are going on, because they want to keep everyone in a fear-based state.
Hold on. First of all, let's go to the sleep paralysis first.
Right.
So what do you think happens then in sleep paralysis?
Well, you can explain it scientifically in a way, but scientifically it's like your body's still asleep, but your brain's awake. So that's why you can't move your body. But they can't ever explain why you're obviously between sleeping and dreaming, so both worlds interact. Entities definitely can tell when you're in this state, and they prey on that. They want to use the fear, whatever they feed on. But whenever I've been in this state, I just all of a sudden, I know I can't move or anything, but I still have my brain. I can think, and I'll think like Archangel Michael help me. And then bam, all the bad things disappear, and I'll see like a purple light in my vision.
Wow, I never experienced that. So I'm always curious what other people's experiences, because I'm just like, I have no reference point. I've heard of it, but I just,
yeah. No, I understand. That's how I was like a year ago. And then, so it's really subtle for me how I like feel, like how I know it's Archangel Michael. With Archangel Michael, it's a bunch of subtle clues, because I don't hear his voice like some people can, or channel him like that. But for me, it's like a purple bluish feeling I have, what comes over me, and then I'll get the information into my heart chakra and interpret it. But like he'll say, encourage me and do different things. And because I work with them with the energy work, we use Archangel Michael as the person to facilitate different things. Obviously, I know that he's used to working with me. And I used to think like, well, how come all these people are, how can he be in all these places at once? Well, now I get it, because in the other dimensions, you can be anywhere at once. And if you're an angel or Jesus or anyone, you can be with, you know, on the other
Right.
dimensions, you can be in many places at once.
You mentioned Jesus. Now, what's your do you have any religious background? What was your background growing up?
I was raised Catholic, but I definitely would say now my own experiences have wiped everything I knew about religion totally, to know like that we are all can be like Jesus, and he was just an example. He used his full power to ascend into his light body, and that's what our goal is basically. But
Okay.
so I'm definitely just spiritual. I know nobody can convince me otherwise of what I believe in, because I know it from my own experiences of like experiencing other dimensions, like knowing that people don't really die, you just go to another dimension, knowing I've been incarnated a lot of times.
Did, did you have past life regressions and stuff like
Yeah, I
that?
did past life regression once, and I gotten a lot of like different readers that do Akashic readings, past life readings. I mean, I think that's the coolest thing. I want to know everything about all my past lives. That's my big, you know, I want to know everything about myself, my full soul, not just this life, you know, who I've
Right,
been.
right, right.
And it's been really cool because so many of them have said the same exact thing. So like the things that I've gotten like 3 or 4 times now, I'm like, obviously that's what happened. And then it's
I,
crazy with the hypnotherapy, the
right.
QHT regression. I thought I wasn't able to be hypnotized, and it turns out I am, but it took a while. It was like 5 hours there, but you feel like you're making it up afterwards when you listen and stuff. You're like, was I just saying that? It's weird, but everything I was saying was exactly what lined up with like the different readings I've gotten too. So it was really
Right.
cool.
One of my previous guests, said she would hypnotize me and do a past life regression as part of this. But we did. Maybe I'll show a clip one day. But it was basically me being like a kind of a rancher slash police guy in Arizona, and I was afraid of Native Americans because they kept stealing our horses and all that.
That's funny.
It's funny.
It's crazy because you can realize like, wow, it must have been a past life, but had a, you know, something maybe drowned, or, you know, like I'm just giving an example because I'm afraid of, you know, something, but like our fears and stuff. Um, like I know in past lives, I've definitely been like a witch, and I've been hung and
Oh wow.
murdered many times. I've been murdered many lifetimes. So I do have a little bit of a fear of speaking out in public, because the last I remember that I guess my soul definitely didn't get off easy before. So like
Well, nowadays you can say anything online, and the worst that can happen is they censor you, and that's it.
right. It's been crazy. I've seen some people's like when they post the thing and they're saying some stuff that's real controversial, their audio will get like choppy and right away without. It's crazy how I'm like, wow, obviously entities are
Yeah,
definitely controlled.
it's not just entities. It's like, I mean, you
The
mean the
actual people,
corporation?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The corporation will, like, if you say anything bad about the official narrative of the COVID, how they handle that, and if you say anything positive about, well, not Trump especially, but about the election fraud that I think happened.
Yeah.
If you say anything about that, they're gonna try to censor you, stuff like that. It's
I know it's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, definitely with the election, especially now, we see that mainstream with Facebook and stuff.
Okay, well,
I'm
what's
my
your opinion
biggest
on that?
advice was, so at this point, what I've been instructed to do by my like spirit team and stuff now is, because I was following it all, and I'm definitely more of a Trump fan, and in some ways, I in some ways he's crazy too. I know that, but you know, I go with the main spiritual community's perceptions with all that at the same time. But now they told me don't worry about any of that. That's kind of, even really politics are very 3D, and where we're headed is stupid to worry about. It's like it doesn't really bother me. I'm not. I feel like that's the best advice is to not not worry about it and not focus on it, because yeah, that stuff's probably happening and everything now. And I still think that it'll probably turn around and they'll see that there was some fraud, but I'm not gonna, I don't want to participate in like any of that, those lower vibrations, basically. That's all. I mean, politics and the COVID scare fear stuff, that's all to lower our vibration, really. So
Okay.
really, it's like a divide. So we just have to rise above and not let it divide us. And I mean, that's exactly what they're doing, though. There's people that usually would get along, but with politics now, they're so on the opposite sides,
Yeah, I
and
did a
it's
survey.
breaking people's friendships, everything. It's a
Yes,
shame.
yes, I did a survey in Scotland when I was there a few months ago, and 400 people participated, and I got that. Brexit was a big deal a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
I got to my survey that almost half the people had relationships strained or lost friends because of Brexit disagreements. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure if you transplant that to US, the same will be true with Democrat versus Republican, Trump versus Biden. These kind of arguments are splitting families apart in a way,
they are.
and it's
And really,
sad.
it's like, man, it doesn't matter as much as you think, and they're both bad. Really, when
I
it comes
I
down
have
to
a
it,
difference of
the whole
opinion.
system's broken. That the fact that those are the two best candidates we have, and all the people. There's way more qualified people to run our country, but sadly, because we didn't have a Democratic or Republican nominee, we have, the whole system's very broken. But that's showing it up to us so that we can hopefully eventually fix it.
I'm kind of interested in politics, and I'm a big Trump fan, and I think
Oh,
he
I'm a
did
big Trump fan too.
a lot of good things, like he's fighting the human trafficking, the
Yeah, he
pedophilia,
is. He is.
and all
I
that.
mean, they
So
don't tell you all this, but I
yeah,
mean, he's done so much good, a lot more than a lot of other presidents. But the media is always, it's crazy how biased they are to him, too. And
yeah,
Biden's from my home state of Delaware, but like I just read an article where they're like, here, like, tell us your great Biden stories from your home state of Delaware. And every single comment was like, I'll tell you, he was a big jerk and did this and this. And everyone was like really bad. But I mean, it's funny how like the media would never do that for Trump, never be like, tell us a great, they're trying to always make him look horrible. And really right now, the media is the biggest enemy. And it shows how like, obviously these are weird Luciferian bad people and entities controlling this right now, because if you watch like CNN, you're going to think I'm going to die if I go outside from COVID. And like Biden's great and that Trump's bad. And
right.
it's just sad how people are
Yeah, CNN
so
is
manipulated.
just terrible. But in my view, it's not just in a way it's kind of Luciferic, but it's also the stuff that's coming from the universities, because they teach that stuff, and the cultural Marxism, America's bad, ta ta.
Mhm.
But I wanna, okay, since you mentioned this, what's your opinion on I suspect I know what it is, but about the COVID situation? Um,
So I know, I mean, COVID is a real, hold on, I'm just fixing this camera.
right.
COVID is a real thing, obviously, but I definitely think that it's really, really over exaggerated by the media to make it, just to make it. COVID exists, but like if we didn't have the media and everything telling us how bad it was and how horrible, I don't think it would be that bad. I mean, it's definitely, they're pushing it by telling you it's bad. That makes people think it's bad. Then it becomes worse when more people are affected that
I
way,
agree.
because it's our world is created by what we're thinking. But I think if they stopped and didn't, if it was just treated like the flu, and I mean, most people don't get it that bad. I'm not worried at all. I mean, once tomorrow they're going to shut everything back down again in California, which sucks because I like going out. But
I
but
don't
I'm going out tonight. I'm taking full advantage of the last night.
right.
But
You're not lucky with the
crazy.
governor there, so it is what it is.
He's a psycho. I mean, it's so obvious that he's like definitely part of the elite bad people just by all the stuff he says. It's like, come on, give me a break. I mean, geez, it's crazy.
Uh,
It really is.
something I don't talk about often on my podcast is crystals. Um, I do wear something like a kind of a cross. I think I showed it on one of my episodes. I don't know. It's called it's a cross. It's a Christian cross. I don't know if you can
Oh
see.
wow. Oh, I have one too.
Yeah. All right.
But
There you go.
yeah.
Different color. Right.
This is
So
Steve was wearing this when he died, so I always keep it with me. I feel like these things like this, where someone actually personally had it, it gives you a stronger connection to that person too if you wear it all the time. I've
okay.
noticed that. So of course I'm gonna wear that. But and then I also have I made my own chakra bracelet with different beads from or
Wow.
different stones. Like I just picked 3 stones for each chakra out at the store. Yeah. But this
So
is powerful. Like I can hear crystals if I put it right near my ear. I can hear it. They always
really,
laugh when I go to the one store because they say, like, "Oh, there's the girl that puts the crystals to her ears." But I'll be like, I'll
you
know
know,
how strong it is.
this reminds me. Years ago, I went to kind of a date. I was in Israel, and I went and this girl had a little bag of
Mhm.
full of crystals and stuff. And I was surprised because I was like, this is BS and all that. But then she was like, she gave it on my hand, and then I could feel differences like between different rocks
Yeah,
and stuff. I was like,
like
wow.
Moldavite. I had a Moldavite pendant. I just gave it to someone because after a while of integrating the energy, if you don't feel it anymore, it's like you've integrated it into your field and you don't need it anymore as much. So I gave it to someone else. But like Moldavite is very strong. I mean, I can really feel that when I put that up to my ears, but you can hold it and feel vibration. And I mean, they're great to work with to raising your vibration and like tuning into a certain frequency. So I like definitely like to keep them near me when I'm meditating. Um, and I'm about to for Christmas. I asked my mom to help me get a really good, cool pendant that I'll wear. That's like a what's it called? It's a certain type of phenakite. That's what it's called, and it's real high vibration stone. I'm gonna get a phenakite pendant because that's the next stone I want to like work with and integrate the energy. But like moldavite, phenakite, the real high vibration stones. Anyone, you don't have to have any esoteric knowledge to feel those, I think. And it can give you anxiety, different things like crazy dreams. But I
Do
think
you
it's so cool.
think the crystals actually like help you in your spiritual progress, or do you think it just clears out the negative energy around you?
I think it just helps supports you with um, just helping you raise your vibration and clearing out, yeah, exactly, clearing out your energy. Like for me, that's why energy work is so important. That's I think I did everything. That was my number one goal, was to talk to the dead. And so to open my third eye, do everything. So I followed I mean, that's all I did online was look up different things I could do, different supplements, anything quick fix. That's me, always trying to look for the quick fix. But I tried it all. And I think energy work and getting like Reiki done and different things like I do like J seal removal, Jehovah's seal removal, and
Well, what is
attachment
that?
removal.
That
So we
sounds
all
like
have like
Jehovah's Witness.
okay. There's like 7. I'm not going to get perfect on the background of this, but there's like 7 J seals, Jehovah's seals that we have in our left side of our body. And we have a lot of other implants and stuff that, especially if we're older souls and we've been around for a while, by now we've accumulated a lot of bad things. And the seals basically just stop our psychic development and different things that the implants and seals can do. So when I had it done to me on the first time my friend Jamie Kroom did it, I, oh my gosh, I could feel the implants and stuff being removed from me. So right afterwards, I was like, I want to know exactly what he did to do that to me. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like someone removed these things like etherically from like states away, thousands of miles away, that somehow it worked. So I got attuned to that program where now I can do it for other people too. And I see it's like a set of prayers basically, and different ways you
Okay.
recite things that work, and you work with Archangel Michael for that.
So it's like
So
declarations, the set of declarations that you say.
declarations, yeah,
Right.
that you can say to yourself, but a lot of times I'll say it out loud if no one else is in the room, because I always feel like, I don't know, something with some energy work I like to do out loud if no one else is there. But And then Reiki, I just got attuned to Reiki, and I thought it was going to be more. I didn't realize it was just more. Reiki is just like intention, and once you're attuned to that, you have the Reiki power. Like the ceremony where she gave me the Reiki power was crazy, because then I felt it right after that so much more. So it's just like a more of just a passed down type thing. Once you realize like how to work with energy, then you get the attunement, and there you go. Now you have it.
Yeah,
That's pretty
I've
cool.
gotten some Reiki over the past year and a half, and it was definitely very interesting. It's like a cool, like a recharge or something.
Definitely. And like, I think that for people who are just starting to get into the spiritual stuff, I think Reiki is like the most important thing you can do. Reiki and any kind of energy work where someone's distantly working on your energy. Like, I haven't even gotten a Reiki session in person. I've always gotten it from my teacher, Bernadette, who's like states and miles away, but distantly. Like, one day I was walking my dog still outside when she started, and I knew right away when she started, because I could beep. All of a sudden, like, my vision got blurry, purple. I could hear like beep, like in my ear, loud, high pitched buzz. And I mean, I felt it like a euphoria wave, and I was outside, so I ran to lay down. But like, really powerful. So I feel like it, and every person's different. You can get Reiki and it won't be as powerful. So like, that's my new goal, is to get really powerful with Reiki. And also eventually I'm working on doing my own kind of, inventing my own energy healing method, like
Hmm.
not Reiki, but not, different things, like not one set way that's already been there. Cause now I'm starting to realize how it works. Like, and I think we'll never really totally know how these things work, but I'm starting to feel, it's very hard to put it into words, but starting to feel how that
Okay.
stuff works. So
Can I make a
that's my goal
suggestion?
eventually.
You could
Yeah.
just maybe say some prayers and try say some prayers from the Bible or something, and try and put like the thing is in the Bible that you put Jesus put instructed his disciples to put the hands on the sick and heal them. So I wonder what that was about, because a lot of
Definitely.
people, he healed a lot of more
He
people than
did.
33, so
I think a lot of that too is his intention, and his belief was so strong. I think it's all about your belief. And I think if your belief, that's why like the placebo effect works so well with people. They think they're getting cured because they think, oh, this pill cures other people, it's going to cure me. Even if it's a placebo, it's going to work like the real thing, because at that point their belief's so strong. And I think
but
that's the main thing with everything, is your belief and intention.
right. What about the spiritual energy? Because the Jesus is at the top, so his spiritual energy, it makes the intention so powerful. So I think for everybody, if they grow spiritually and becoming more loving towards everybody, then
Exactly. I mean, that's where it really boils down to, is how you really increase your vibration and increase everything. I mean, the higher your vibration, the better you're going to feel. You're going to feel high, is if you get into a space of loving, not duality, no anger, don't be mad at someone, don't be scared of anything, don't be mad, especially mad, but like, don't try to be better than someone, just be happy, loving, and want to help people.
what
And
did you
just,
say? Especially men.
I said, especially mad, being mad.
Oh, mad.
Like, anger is one
Oh
of the worst
yes.
emotions,
Uh,
obviously, and lower emotions to have. So that's why the people want the bad guys want us to be angry, they want us to be scared. Fear and anger are the two worst. So the best is the opposite of fear, which is like acceptance and love, instead of
right.
and
So
joy, and like laughing, trying to laugh all the time, like do dancing, fun things, like just being silly.
joy. Right.
Yes, joy. And like, for me, a lot of my experiences with other dimensional entities and beings, and different things, has always been, they're like making me laugh. Usually, like, it always appeared to me as something funny. And
So
I know that's
humor
because,
is important, right?
yeah, super important.
Mm,
And they use humor to like reach us,
right.
definitely. Damn,
So
they're pretty smart. And like, now I'll like laugh sometimes, because I'll get some weird like synchronicity, and I'm like, oh, they did that, that's funny, that like, that's pretty clever of them. But like, So that's when you realize, wow, this is really happening, because I didn't think, how am I going to trick myself, you know?
Right. So how can people, let's say somebody, because of COVID, they lost their job or whatever, and they're feeling very down. So how do people, when they're, because I know I've had them also, when they have people have suicidal thoughts, when they're feeling depressed and all that. So how do the people, I know that's a heavy question, but how do people get out of that, start to feel better?
No, I understand. I mean, it's a hard situation to be in. And I was there after Steve died. I mean, I was very suicidal and depressed, and just I didn't find any meaning in life, because I'm like, man, my favorite person's not here, and I'm, you know, never gonna coming back type thing. So I understand and I sympathize when people are in those states. But the thing I did, and the thing I think, depending on your unique situation, on why you're depressed, but like if you say, you know, you don't have a job right now, just know that everything is set up by your higher self to, on purpose, for a reason. Nothing is coincidental, nothing is by accident. You're right where you're supposed to be, and those things happened for your highest good. And it's all about making lemonade out of lemons, you know, like that you probably lost that job because it wasn't where you're supposed to be. So now it's course correction so you have a better job. You know, you're going to get it. Just having the faith and knowing that this stuff is going to
There he
happen.
is.
Playing with puppies, that helps.
Yes.
But just like knowing, it's hard. It's easier said than done. I know that, but like each individual is different. But that's what I like to help people, because I've been in those situations. I've been so depressed, so dependent on something, so just feeling hopeless. And it really is about your attitude with that, like how how you how you can change your thoughts do create reality. So if you're gonna get stuck in that like life sucks mentality, life is gonna suck. That's
Right.
guaranteed. And
So
then
maybe small things you can do, or watch a positive video, watch a comedy,
right.
have some humor.
And like staying in the present moment, like I didn't realize how important that was till recently. But like that's why there's so many people that, like, you ever notice those people that are very nostalgic, like always like the past was always better than now. And it's like, it's because even in the present good moments they have, they're not there. They're thinking about the past. But like when the past moment probably was happening, they think back to it as positive, but they probably were not even present then, thinking about something in the past before that, then not even appreciating it.
Right.
Then later it becomes a good memory. But why wasn't it a good memory at the time? I realized I was doing that to myself. I would get like a massage and be like waiting for it to be over. Like, you know, like that kind of like weird anticipation thing, and not like just letting myself be there and feel it. Once you can really let yourself be there and then feel things, instead of worrying like what's this person thinking of me? What's gonna happen? It's going good now. What's gonna mess up later? Once you can turn that off, oh, life gets like so much better. And then you can actually like sit there and enjoy things, you know, and not like be like living in the past or future tripping, you know. And that's like,
Right.
it's hard. I mean, nobody's perfect. I do it a lot where I'll be sitting there not even realizing where I am, just thinking about stuff that happened or stuff that hasn't happened yet, you know.
Right.
But the more you can turn that off, the better your life will be.
One thing that came to mind as you were speaking about that is one of the things somebody told me that I find really useful. If you lose a job, or if you're rejected by boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, is that there's a saying called rejection is God's protection.
God's protection, definitely.
Yeah. And I love
Definitely.
that. I love that. It's like,
It is. It really is. I mean, it really is. And everything, and even if you don't, people are like, so many people are like, oh, 2020 sucked. This is not where I'm supposed to be in my life. You know, that everything's horrible. Well, don't think like that. That's going to keep you there. But if you turn your life around knowing that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, you did sign up to come here, you volunteered. Nobody's forced to incarnate. I don't think that. I think that I know that I could stop incarnating anytime. I've been incarnated many thousands of times, I think. And that I chose to be come. Supposedly I don't incarnate that many times, that much often recently. My soul is as an old soul, and I'm more like 12th dimensional, like avian, Lyran origins. But I came here because I wanted to be a part of the Great Awakening and to help guide people,
Okay. When is
and to
the
be a leader, I guess. So,
sorry, what?
oh, I said, and to just be a leader and to help people get through what I had to go through first,
So when is a lot of guests talk about the awakening. So when do you think the awakening is going to happen, or is it happening already?
It's already happening, and I don't think it's at all going to be what people think. Like on the 21st, I don't think it's going to be a great, huge thing that everyone's going to notice. I think some people are going to not know the day is any different than any other day. I think that if you're in tune with energies, you'll definitely feel it. I think it's going to be mainly an internal thing that happens where we'll just get a lot more clarity after that point. I think that everyone's going to be just more clear on their life purpose and where they're going, and just start being like just the maybe as your scale, the consciousness scale, like go up a couple points on the scale for each
Right.
person.
Are you talking
So
about the Hawking's map of
yes,
consciousness, right?
yes, I've been
Yeah.
like obsessed with that ever since you told me about that. I've been looking it up. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's
But
Hawking's was my is my teacher, and he brought me back to Jesus and all that stuff. But he also showed me all the different religions have useful, how it all plays apart. And yeah, it's very beautiful teacher, and he
he is
passed
awesome,
away.
very smart man.
He passed away 8 years ago, but he was in the World War II and everything.
Hmm.
He was an amazing man. But I think you'd be surprised to hear he was a psychiatrist. So he was actually prescribing medications.
Prescribing the medicines. Yeah, that's
But,
crazy.
but he was saying that they actually sometimes people need them when they're
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Some people do. I
yeah.
was just lucky that I didn't need any of that, so like, why take it? Mess up.
But
But yeah,
obviously,
definitely some people. So in certain cases, it's definitely I'm not like opposed to it. I think if you can, you want to get your body to a point where it doesn't need that.
yeah. But also people don't know this that he was one of the early proponents of orthomolecular psychiatry, which is basically the psychiatry that popularized the notion that big doses of vitamin C is good for cold, but all the
Oh yeah,
vitamins like B3 is good for your nervous system and stuff like that. So
nice. Yeah, but that's definitely way more. I'm super into vitamins and supplements now, and like all the natural stuff. So I think any science that supports that is good.
I want to talk about the something I also don't feel, I think, but feeling of spirits and stuff like that around.
Mhm.
I don't think it's something that I'm sensitive to, but speak to that. Does it happen often to you?
So for me, that is my number one psychic gift. Like my most obvious is actually feeling physically touched. I can feel it by spirit. So that's how like I knew when the etheric implants were getting taken away from me. I was like, I could feel it. So like I did a meditation the other day that had you put you could connect the one that they used in the contact, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where you get like develop ET contact. I had beings putting their arm, like I could feel it, like it felt like someone actually touching me all up and down my arms and shoulders. So, and it feels like actually someone actually touching me, but just like a little more subtle. But like at this point now, I've grown it enough where it feels just like they're there. So I can like I always put my hand out in the car when I'm driving, and I'll have like a feel like a hand touching and like tapping to the beat. Different things they'll do for me, and
Really?
now I've started to use that since I don't like totally yet haven't gotten to the point of discernment to trust my own information as much when it comes through my heart chakra. I'll say, okay, if this is this, touch my left foot. If it's this, touch my right foot. And I'll use like kind of use the touching it because I know that like nobody can tell me otherwise, and I can't convince myself out of that because something else is touching me and I feel it. So I'll use that now as a tool to help with the other senses.
But
But
how do
I'm
you
still
know
learning
it's
how to different ways to be creative with that, since I can so well psychically feel the touch, but
but
it's hard.
how
You have to like trying to think of other ideas to help me with that.
but how
But
do you
it's really
know it's if it's if it's a benign entity on the other side or if it's not? Like, can you discern
um
that?
I'm learning to, because I've had both. I definitely had some bad entities too. Um and they'll do like sometimes pinch me too to get me to stop doing something. I have a bad habit of touching my hair or like picking my scalp, like different little things, bad like habits I have. I'll feel like ow, a little pain in my hand, and I put my hand down. Oh, thanks, because I know they're
Right.
trying to stop me,
Are
and it
they try
works because that for that second I'm like, oh wait, and I remember what I'm doing and I stop.
are they trying to stop you now or no?
No, they haven't done it at all now. They know
Okay.
I'm like, well, you should just look in the camera, I guess.
Um, talk about the oh, we talked about the resonance, but I want to talk about the frequency. You said 800. Is that really high?
Yeah, so they said today the frequency, the Schumann resonance is 800. I I feel the Schumann. So the Schumann resonance is like the vibration of the earth, like the earth's
Right.
frequency. And if if the vibration gets to like fifth dimension level, then we'll be constantly, then we'd be a fifth dimension planet. Right now, it's just spiking sometimes on certain days. So before today, the highest it had ever been was 110. So they said today it's 800. I'm like, what? That's
What?
like 8 times as high as the highest. But I don't know, because I don't feel that. I don't feel like it's
So maybe
800 at
it's off.
all.
Maybe it's off the measurement.
I think they said that there was the Italy place said 800, but the other place said not. So they're not sure. I guess they'll probably find out in a couple of days and tell us. But it doesn't seem like 800 to me. It seems definitely the energy's heightened right now. The last few days has been really cool. Like I feel
Yeah.
like definitely more and more people are coming, starting to get a rise on the scale. Definitely.
And there's also seems to be there's a lot more fraud coming out. And recently there was I don't know if you've seen, but there was a video of voter fraud that came out from Georgia. And I think people are more when they see video, they're more convinced. Like people giving their
Yeah,
testimony
definitely.
is one thing, but people seeing a video and then that's totally another because people are more convinced by that than somebody's
You're right.
testimony. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally understand. I mean, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's interesting. I definitely don't follow the Q stuff. I think that's like a disinformation thing. That's a shame that some people are using. It's like I think it has some real information, but a lot of fake stuff that's steering
I
people away from the truth.
I had one guest that was that's QAnon and talking that was
Mhm.
talking about that. So it's interesting. I don't know myself. I'm on the fence about it. I don't know.
There's
Um,
definitely been some stuff that they've predicted accurately, but um, I think a lot of it, it's like definitely a way to sway. That's what I've intuitively felt too, is just that
right.
it's a way to sway you away from the real thing, but it does have some splits of like real things. I mean,
Well,
obviously, it is good that it's getting attention towards like the trafficking and different things and getting more people to be aware of this stuff anyway.
let's talk about the fifth dimension because I don't know how that would look like if so right now we're going from 4 to 5. Is that it?
Yeah. So what we're 3 and 40, but so, and like when you think about it, like dimensions, height, width, length, like how we have another, it's crazy. It's hard to wrap our head around it, but it's like it exists all around us. So like if it's ever like pitch black in a room and your vision starts to see like kind of looks like static kind of in front of you when it's pitch black, that's like you're seeing into the fifth dimension a little bit. So um that's how I've seen entities and different things that way, like kind of relaxing my gaze in the dark and working with entities and seeing and then starting to see a little bit. So
Okay.
I understand now the concept of the fifth dimension, how it is a dimension that just right here, heaven is right here too. Like it's right here. It's just another dimension we don't see. But and it's weird. It's definitely, I mean, it's hard to wrap our brains around it, but it's exciting to be like, wow, I think that it's going to be an individual experience of it. And I think the more you can obviously individually rise to the good levels of love and acceptance all the time, the more you'll be able to be in the fifth dimension, like during this incarnation. I don't think it's going to be like some people think, where we're going to like totally go off into a new earth. You know, it's not going to be like that.
Okay, so
Maybe next lifetime it will be like that, but not this one.
so maybe in 100 years it'll be a different
Yeah.
existence here on Earth, but
Yeah, but it will take, I think, 80 years or something to like actually
right.
be in another dimension.
Okay.
But I think that vibratorily, your vibration, like that's, I don't know if that's a real word, but the universe will start responding to your increase in vibration and separating you from people that are lower vibration, just naturally, like getting fired from a job that doesn't suit you, or being away from this bad relationship. Different things will happen, and it's almost like you feel like, you know, ever feel like you communicate with someone and before you used to click with them, and now you talk to them and it's like you feel like you're speaking another language.
Right.
It's because the vibrations.
This year I've lost at least 2 friends that I have known for at least 10 years, both of them. So it just like we used to get along, but now just like certain things I say, they're not even huge, but like it just we're completely different frequencies. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
a
different.
frequency thing. Definitely. Like, I mean, it's the same reason why, like, you can be in a relationship with someone and be so attracted to them. Then one day you just wake up and you're like, I'm not with that person. Like, I've had that happen a few times, but like, it's because bam, your vibration raised and you're now not a match. And now it's like time. It's like the way the universe tells you, okay, it's time to change, to be with someone else, you know, something like, it's very subtle in some ways, but then the universe will always, it's like, kind of like, okay, don't even sit back and worry about it, because the universe will take care of it for you eventually. With everything, like getting those people out of your life. Like there's always a plan, always a reason that we don't, just our 3D bodies right now don't know, but our soul knows, our higher self, you know, that's just the portion of our soul that's still in heaven, that, I mean, in a higher dimension, right? So
As Keanu Reeves said in that movie, Hello Buddha, when he was playing Buddha, he said, to learn is to change.
yeah,
And that
I love Keanu Reeves. I feel like I've had past lives with him. Something about him barely resonates with me, but
he's a cool dude.
I'm sure a lot of people say that though. But he's a cool dude. He seems like a cool dude.
I think
Very down to earth.
there should be a movie made with Keanu Reeves and Matthew McConaughey. I think
That would be great. That would be so good. They should do that. That's a
and
good
maybe Tom
suggestion.
Hanks as well. That's those three seem like class act.
Yeah,
in Hollywood.
they do. Definitely Matthew McConaughey and Keanu together. I'm surprised that happened. Actually, now you think about it, you're like surprised it hasn't happened.
Yeah, but Keanu always plays a specific role. He's not a typical actor because he's very
he is
he's very specific actor. Yeah.
Yes, and some people say he's not that good of an actor, but I mean, especially for being like kind of like the reserved guy, he does that. He definitely has that down to a T now, to being like the kind of awkward but reserved guy, but
Yeah.
or like the surfer type, and yeah, I like Woody Harrelson too. I feel like him and Matthew McConaughey are always good in things together.
Yeah, he's another special character to say the least.
Definitely.
Yes.
It just seems like they're like, wow, you know that they seem like real people that are cool to hang out with, you know?
Yeah. And those are usually the best actors are usually really good people. Have had experiences and they're not just like robots, kind of, because they have a certain personality, certain gravitas to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So if people want to reach you and have a session, where can they reach
I'm
you?
doing a special right now. So for an hour, FaceTime or Zoom or any type of video method you want with me, call for $60. I'm doing that from now till the end of the year. And it also includes a free distance energy healing. And then so for an hour, we'll go over the different blocks that you think you're facing and like different things you're doing to start opening your third eye, opening yourself to meditation and different problems you have in your life and how to overcome those issues. And sometimes I'll give like some channeled messages, but I don't advertise that because I don't always get them. So, and I'm still newer at that. So mainly just the energy healing and coaching to help you get more in line with your higher self, basically. So you can follow me on YouTube, Amy Apostolico, and Instagram, Amy Apostolico, or Facebook, Amy Wallace. You can search for Amy Apostolico too there.
Okay.
But I've just
I'll
started
post
my
those
YouTube channel.
links. I'll post those links underneath the video
Thanks.
with the podcast so people can find your work.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any last words? What should people focus on in this crazy time?
I would say focus on, from especially now to like the end of December, January, really don't think you're going to be rescued by some other alien forces and that the world's going to magically turn into the fifth dimension. That's not
wait, so the aliens are not coming?
They're coming. They're already here in other dimensions. But I mean, to wait, it's all internal. And the more you change your own beliefs and increase your own consciousness, the better reality. And like, once you realize that everything is inside you and you create this, you create this life. So if you are willing to change and be malleable and know and be okay with not knowing all the answers, but just knowing that you're open to learn and being open to love and compassion and doing acts of service to help other people. If you're centered that way, you're on the right path and you're going to keep growing. And like that, you'll realize, I think on the 21st, it will be like an internal shift that you get a lot more clear with everything. I think everything's going to be more clear. Maybe we'll see some solar flash too, but I think the energy will be very strong that day. And internally we'll just feel a lot better and different.
Have you seen aliens yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely, like, it's very subtle, like what you see and feel, but I know they're there with me, especially because I can feel. The main gift I have is the feeling. I know like they're in another dimension. I can't see them, but someone's touching my shoulder, so it's cool. That's definitely, so I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that, yeah, the aliens are already here, they're just in another, and we're aliens in a way. We've been aliens before. Everything's like exists inside of us.
You mean past lives, right? Past lives.
Yeah, past lives.
And
like
by the way, when you were
actual...
talking about the things before, did they take you out and put in something in you?
They took our stuff out mainly, but okay. I actually, most people probably wouldn't recommend this, but I'll say to the higher entities, go ahead and put any implants you think will be of my highest good, that won't hurt me, that will help me with like my psychic gifts, different things. I'm all ready to accept them, but I know that's not probably a good spiritual practice to say, to be open to all that, but right. I'm like, I live on the edge that way. I'm also I have to be more careful. I have to be definitely protect myself better, because I just had a reading where she said, I've never seen someone so like spongy and empathetic as you, but you have a lot of stuff that's not yours on you from just different people you've seen and hung out with that you didn't really protect from. So I need to start doing better.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's sometimes good to be on the safe side. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm like, I always lived life on the edge a little bit. So I think that's why we come to Earth, is to experience the duality. And in the higher dimensions, we're used to just always getting what we want, and all that. That's why we come to Earth, because the good moments wouldn't be as good unless we had the bad.
Right.
You have to go through suffering to know how great it is. If you just get everything handed to you and everything's great, it's not that great after a while. It's weird how it's like that, but that's why we come here, to learn and to do some bad things, make mistakes, and the more we make and the more we realize what we did and overcome it, the more our soul grows.
So you had some Lana Del Rey experiences then, like being out there. Right.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, there she is, Amy Wallace.
Thank you so
Great,
much, guys.
great podcast, and thank you for being on, and everybody
Thanks for
that's,
having me.
and thank you for listening and watching the podcast. Thank you.